Flash Tube, it's Diane. Today is June 18th, 2022, and hope you're doing well. We're getting ready for another heat wave. I had hoped that we could go from winter into summer, you know, actually have a spring, but apparently not. So flip a switch and we are in summer. And of course, this is the land of 10,000 lakes, although technically there's nearly 15,000. So we get the humidity too, and that's the part that, ugh. But I finally got all of my plants planted for my garden. And again, I'm not a supreme gardener by any means, but hopefully it'll work. And what else has gone on? We had our open house for our graduate, and it was just beautiful weather. It was in the upper 70s, which is always really nice. Low humidity, enough of a breeze, sunshine. It was really nice. Some of our open houses for some of our kids have been cold and rainy and just weird. But this time it was really good, which was really nice. What else has been going on? Yeah, car is still broken. Probably have to get a new washing machine because it's still leaking. The guys come to try to fix it twice. And it just keeps leaking. As you can imagine, our family burns through washing machines. And so we always get the extended warranty. So we had the extended warranty. And of course now finally the extended warranty is lapsed. And we don't know where the water's coming from. It's always something. And my son's trying to, our car, I mean, it almost turned over last night, so it's closer to being fixed, but yeah. Anyway, my husband's out shooting again today. They have another Project Appleseed event. And so I thought I'd do this video to get caught up a little bit because I've been stitching, I've been quilting, I've been sewing, and did a little organizing. Health-wise, I found some more stuff out, so I have to do more research and change more diet things, and yeah, it's always something. But let's jump in. What do I have to show? I'm going to show a little bit of quilting. I've been able to fully piece some projects that I already had cut or I had partially assembled. And so I'm going to step out of the frame for just a minute. This one is from the book Simple Whatnots by Kim I think it's Dial or Deal, D-I-E-H-L. And it is this one. It's called Barn Stars. And I'm getting it sandwiched so I can quilt it. So I put the border on finally, and then it's going to have a black binding. And then it's just a little wall hanging table topper. And so I need to put the back on, which I have cut. I just have to iron it so I can fully sandwich it together and do all the stuff. So that's one piece that I've been working on. I just kind of I always do multiple projects, and sometimes I overwhelm myself. And so this is kind of helping me kind of walk through it a little bit in my mind, so it'll help motivate me again. So I have that piece. This one is a Buttermilk Basin pattern, and it's called Holly Leaf Quilt, and I actually purchased it as a kit, meaning all the fabrics you see here except for the batting is included in the kit. And so this is all, again, I'm working on getting it all sandwiched. And I think with this one in the center at least, I'm just going to do straight lines, kind of stitch in the ditch a little bit. Stitch in the ditch, that's where you run along the seam. I think maybe that's what I'm going to do. I'm not sure what to do in the border yet. Maybe just echo to have a rectangle all the way, or excuse me, a square all the way around. But again, a little wall hanging, table topper type of thing. I love this fabric. This fabric is a Buttermilk Basin fabric. Oh, I wish I could remember the name. I know it's Christmas something, but yeah. So these are all Buttermilk Basin fabrics, and I purchased this as a kit. I don't know if they have the kit available. Often when they make a kit available and they run out of the kits, they still sell the pattern. But I believe this fabric is still available, this fabric line. And the last one that I put together is from Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin, and it's called Spring Green Fling. And I also purchased this as a kit when I was there. Again, I don't know if they have any kits left, but they usually sell the pattern even if they don't have the kits. And this one did come with the backing. I just didn't, I need to press the backing. So when I like to use 505 spray to kind of tack it down. It's not a permanent thing. But here is the piece. And it's roughly 32 by 32. And the kit also included the binding. And again, I love this fabric. This fabric. I don't know what line it is. Looking at the selvage, see if I could find the selvage of the backing. So here's the backing. Windham fabrics. So maybe these are all Windham fabrics. But they, at Country Sampler, I picked this up and bought the kit there because green is my favorite color. And it had all of these fabrics. So you can look at their website. Maybe they still have these kits. I don't know. You have to purchase the pattern separately. I do know the pattern is available. But yeah, their directions are fabulous. Fabulous. They always try and, so you can make a little oversized square and then you can trim it down so you get a lot more accurate that way. The only con I would have with the Buttermilk Basin pattern is I wish they would do that also, that you can make your units, particularly the half square triangles, just a little bigger and then trim them down, because it makes you far more accurate. And then this is Quilting Haul, Love of Quilting. I really like that one that's on the front. This has a lot of more patriotic Quilt of Valor pieces. Like this one, Courage in the Light. Quilt of Valor organizations make quilts given to veterans and those who are wounded in active military, and the quilts give them some comfort and realize that they're thought of. And then this is a fun one, a little bit fishy. I like the bright colors. And here's a better picture. But I want to get more into applique. I really like piecing. It's still my favorite technique. I do like foundation paper piecing, but I really want to get into applique also. And I love this one. So, more things to look at. And then another thing I purchased for Quilting Haul is this guy, Zootopia. Or I'm sorry, Zootropolis. Sorry, Zootropolis. The quilt shop had a version of this on the wall, except they didn't use the door. And I don't think they used all the animals. There's 32 different animals. But it was just so cute. So, so cute. So I'm playing with my scraps and kind of figuring out how I want to do that. And then my quilting block of the month which is this one by studio180.net, studio180design.net. I'm doing this through a local quilt shop, and last time I talked about it, I had month 1 complete, and I was working on month 2, and I finished month 2, and it's month 3. I also finished month 3 and month 4. So I was able to pick up month 5 this last week. I just have not, I cut the pieces, but I have not started sewing on them. So month 1 was this unit. Month 2 were little Lemoyne stars, and I was supposed to put them together, and half Lemoyne stars. Half Lemoyne stars. Month 3, whoa, more Lemoyne stars. And then you assembled the Lemoyne stars to make these units. So you do some of the assembly as you go, so it's not overwhelming at the end and you're trying to figure out what unit goes where. And then month 4, flying geese. And so I have those all done. To make this unit. And again, these fabrics are just so yummy. And so month 5, you're doing more of the center of the piece. So this is a 12-month thing, block of the month. And then I'm actually going to make this big enough. The original size is for like a queen size. But I'm going to, I'm talking it over with the owner of the quilt shop. I'm actually, this border here and this little thin border here, I'm actually going to make those a little wider so it could be a king size to fit onto my bed. Because I'm doing all the work, I might as well reap the benefits. Yeah, where are my strips? I'm missing some strips. That's weird. They're probably in my basket over here. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. So these are month 2. And those extras will be used in other aspects when I'm fully assembling the quilt. I got this basket at a store that was clearing out a while ago. And so I'll throw a whole big project like this in there. So quilting wise, I want to just kind of finish these up. The next major project on my list is this guy, which is child number 8's quilt. It's called Fractured Star by Judy Niemeyer. I'm just going to work on the diamonds first of all, and then worry about the background. It's foundation paper pieced, and baby number 7's was foundation paper pieced also. So I kind of burned myself out a wee bit on foundation paper piecing, but now I'm ready to jump back in. Oops, that's not the right one. So for my WIPCO numbers for June that Jessie Marie called, both of them were 5 days on Erica Michaels. And I have several of her pieces started. And so Be Like a Crow, this main piece, I also have this one started, but I've been working on this main piece. I am doing this on the, I can't remember if it's 35 count. Yeah, it's 35 count silk gauze. My pattern had the silk gauze included. I know that there's been some supply chain issue, surprise, surprise, with regard to silk gauze. But here's where I'm at. So I had all this black done, and I've been doing, and the kind of the innards here, these flowers. What you have to do is you have to go back, because you could see all the way through this. So you have to go back and you fill it in, and that's what I've been doing, is filling this whole section up here in. I'm about halfway done filling that in with solid. We use the basket stitch and the continental stitch. It looks like a half stitch, but how you do it, when it's done, it'll be nice and dense, like almost thick, like a tapestry type of thing. It is a different way of stitching. I mean, this could be stitched on a linen, no problems. And Linda Stoltz's patterns are so nice to read. So I've been working on that on and off. I have about 4 days of the 10 done. But I also, at the end of May, have to finish. And I finished Aphrodite by Mirabilia. I did not include the shell, but everything else I included. This is on 32 count Sea God by Under the Sea Fabrics. It is an opalescent, meaning it has just a wee bit of sparkle in the fabric. I used all the called for colors. The regular DMC, this one didn't have silk in it. Did it have silk? No, this just had DMC and Kreinik. For the DMC, I used 2 strands over 2 threads. For the Kreinik, I did actually use Kreinik, and I just used 1 strand. It's number 4 braid. You just use it as it comes off the spool. And then I used all the called for beads, and here she is. Again, it's a Mirabilia, so bling. And again, I left the shell off. So now she's ready to, at some point, get framed and up on the wall. So it's nice to have her done. And a lot of beautiful detail in this piece. So set her over there. And now I have a project bag that I can use. Again, this is one I made myself. And I put this little pocket here, so when I have a pattern in here, project in here, I could just stick like a sticky note, index card, backside of a business card in here with information on it, so I know what's in here. But that's what I made myself. Another piece that I have been working on, and I showed it in my last video, is this one with the needle 2, Lila Studio. And I was working on the 3rd box. It's a 40 count natural. All the called for colors, 1 strand over 2 threads. Do be aware that at least my pattern, my copy of the pattern, said that maple syrup was a classic colorworks, or wheat, said it was a classic colorworks. It's actually a General Arts. But here it is. So I already had this part done, and box 1 and box 2 was done, so I finished box 3. I love her use of color. So one reason that I didn't just go right on to box 4 is I'm trying to adapt it a little bit to personalize it for my family. Let me show you the pattern here. Just trying to fold up my stitching. So you have a man and a woman and 2 children and some cats, I think. It says home at the bottom. Well, my last name, my human name, my last name, is only 4 letters, so that could easily take the place of the H-O-M-E. Just change it to my human last name. But they have 2 children. Well, I have more than 2 children. But there's no way I could fit 14 children in there. So I'm toying with the idea of just taking all the people out, and there's these flowers here, and maybe just making sure that there are 14 flowers. 14 of the smaller flowers. So there's 3 smaller flowers and 1 tall one. So do like 2 tall flowers and then have 14 smaller flowers, just to indicate that we have 14 children in our family. Yeah. So, and then I could just say the year my husband and I were married. So I'm just not sure how I want to adapt that part yet. And I don't want to work all the way over here because I will miscount. I know myself too well. So I put it away as I think about how I want to do this. I have a friend who stitched this piece and they had 3 daughters. So what she did is she just changed it so she had 3 daughters represented here. And I think she changed it to the year her husband and herself got married. And I think she made, I have 2 dogs, so I can make these look more like dogs. Although, to be honest, what they look like now is not too far off from my dogs because they're Labradoodles. They have that curved tail. But I'm thinking on that. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do that. So somehow reflect, you know, that I have 14 children in my piece. Make it personalized that way. So I haven't figured that out yet. So that's one thing that I thought, okay, well, I met the goal. Time to put it away. And then I have a new start. I started this on June 1st. Because why not? In the Garon Stitchery group, Plum Street Sampler is the designer focus of the month. This is the day. This was a market exclusive, although I do believe it's available generally now to everybody, or will be soon. And she has another one that's just, that she showed. I follow her on Instagram and she showed it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that one's gonna have to come home with me, and I can't remember what it is right now. This is on 40 count Flax. I am using some of the called for colors. Some of them I had in my collection. A lot of them are DMC. That's called for in the pattern. But the over dyeds, if I had the over dyed, I used it, and I think the 2 over dyeds that are on here right now. Well, no, there's more than 2. I know that I have most of the house finished. I have just this little, like, half a row, and then the roof is complete. And that is the called for. I think it's crab cakes. The called for. This blue is mint julep. I had that, and that is the called for. As for the bricks, and I've been filling in some of the mortar, which is rose something. I had that. It's a called for. But some of the colors I didn't have, so I just chose from my own over-dyed collection. Like a couple, like one of these reds, I know I didn't have the called for, but I had something close to it. And so that's what I've been doing. And when I'm done, I could share that if people really are interested in it. Because these are the beautiful colors of this piece. Again, some of them are DMC as called for, and some of them are overdyeds. But yeah, mint julep, that one. Yeah, switched some of them out to others because I just didn't have what was called for. But it still gives the same effect. So the house is almost complete. There's a lot of house. It's bigger. Her patterns are often bigger in reality than they look like on her pictures. But I love her symbols. Her symbols and her use of color. We are really blessed with such a talented group of designers in our community. When I got that far, I'm like, oh no, it's time to switch something, because I did that for the first 15 days of June. Although I'll admit I didn't stitch on it every single day. Most days I did. But life happens. And so the piece that called to me after this one is still on my Lowry. And it is The Greatest Loss by Sampler Cove. And I had started this one earlier this year. But then I didn't have, like, there's all these little bands. So I did the top band, but then I didn't have the color for the next band. I had to order it and all the things. But I have them now. And this is 40 count platinum. I am using the called for AVAS silks, 1 strand over 2 threads. There are definitely specialty stitches in this piece, but I had this purple row done, and this is the end of the row. So I added this gold row, and this is a darker gold, but it's a lot of black work. So back stitching and running stitch. So there'll be 9 medallions total, and I have 4 complete. So it's been a lot of fun. And then I started just doing, like, this band is mirrored down here. So yeah, it's just beautiful. Very, very delicate pattern. And I really, really like Sampler Cove designs. I've done the Dutch Beauty, and it's not framed, but it's stitched. Yeah, I like her use of color, and so this is the one that still has my attention. I really would like to get down a few more rows. You can't tell. I mean, seriously. Nobody is that good. But yeah, it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. And what it says is the loss of a father is much, the loss of a mother is more, the loss of Christ is such a loss as no other can restore. And I'm really looking forward to getting down to this beautiful band here with these beautiful flowers. This band here, which will be, yeah, so I have the words next, and this band has a lot of 1/1, but on the Lowry with my magnifier and all that, it works just fine. Again, her charts are very clear to read, at least the ones I've stitched, and I really enjoy them. So that's what I've been working on. And again, my WIPCO numbers are 10 days on the Erica Michaels, so I need to get the last 6 in, and for me a day is 2 hours. So I gotta clean up my mess here. When will I come back? Probably a few weeks. We're not going anywhere. Yeah. And July is my birth month, so chances are there will be more haul. But speaking of which, for July 1st, there were 2 pieces I was thinking of starting, and I want to show them to you. Oops. The month of July for, oh, I hope I'm saying this right, for Garon Stitchery, I believe, I could totally be wrong on this, so don't hold me to it, I believe is Erica Michaels, Linda Stoltz. And so I thought I would start, potentially, Flippity Games. This was a Market 2022 release. And not using the Call for Colors. Using mostly the DMC colors that she charts in here. I think that's what I'm going to use, is all the DMC. On 36 count Vintage River Willow by Lakeside Linens. So I did another piece on the other half of this, and it's finished, and a big enough chunk left over, if I did my math right. Or from Sampler and Antique Needlework, Winter 2010. Liberty Sampler. Here. Now I will say, these sheep down here are like bullion knots and stuff. They ain't gonna be bullion knots in my piece. No. Some of them are French knots. Some of them are bullion knots. No. I know this is a reproduction, but no. I will say though, all this grass down here is not cross stitched. It is, I believe, satin stitched. So there are a few specialty stitches in here. I'll do the vertical satin stitch, and then I'll just figure out on the sheep. Some of the sheep are cross stitched. Yeah, 2 of the sheep are cross stitched, I believe. No, those 2 are the French knot sheep. So they're charted for cross stitch. I'm just gonna cross stitch the sheep and call it good. But it is all, it's charted for DMC, and that's what I'm going to use. It's charted for Anka or DMC. I'm going to use the DMC on 36 count Flax. So that one might also get started. Here are all of the beautiful colors. So we will see when I start in honor of my birthday. Or I may just pull out what I started last year for my birthday. That one has kind of been calling to me. And in recent times, except for the this is the day, most of the time my previous whips are what's calling to me. So I'll just go with it. I'll switch that out in a minute. I have a bigger ring to put those DMCs on. But that is what I'm going to do. Our dishwasher should be fixed this week. The guy, he's like, oh yeah, you don't know what's wrong with it. And I had taken my phone and I had recorded it making the weird sound. And he was like, oh yeah, it's not supposed to make that sound. Like, yeah, it's, 3 months old. Should not be making that sound. And so it will be fixed on Monday. It should be. But yeah, that's what's going on here. It's kind of quiet out there. I better figure out what the kids are doing. Oh, and this piece behind me, this quilt top behind me, is also from Country Sampler. It's called Long May She Wave. It's I did it as a table runner, but if you took these stars and put it all around, you can make it a table topper, and the pattern tells you just have to make a different number of these red and white blocks and a different number of the blue and white blocks. The pattern is very, very clear. I really like their patterns. I do strongly recommend them if you are interested in them at all. But yeah, I'll let you all go, and we'll talk to you when we talk to you. Yeah, stay cool. It's been so humid, but you drink your water, throw some electrolytes in there. There's a whole variety of ways to do that, and be healthy. We will talk to you soon. Love to y'all. Bye.